Well, good morning.
Good morning,
Dr. Milu.
How are you this morning?
I am well, and good morning to anyone who may be joining us. Welcome to Coffee with the Coach. I'm Tony DiGuida. This is Dr. Milu.
Good morning, and we are enjoying a month of renewal before we move into our aspiration, which is next month, the first module of our 9-module program. Let me correct that. Next month is not the first module. Next month is the
Next
love.
month is love.
Exactly. Love.
You're in a hurry to start your modules.
Right. So, yeah, that's what I forgot. Next month is the month of love. I have to remind myself that, what
you better remind yourself, otherwise your other love will remind you. You'll have nothing.
Very well. So this is the month of renewal, and we are doing a fabulous job of renewing things that we want to renew now and for the future.
There's a lot of things that people are renewing now. Many people are renewing themselves with maybe a fresh, clean shave, or typically in January, it's with exercise and weight loss. But some people have renewed their vows in January, which I did 3 years ago. So there's many things we can renew, and we should be thankful and grateful for renewal of this day, because tomorrow is not promised.
Yes, and very nicely said, Tony, that, many people are doing this renewal. As you are aware that I am coaching multiple gymnasium owners, and people sign up for the gymnasiums to renew commitment with their own wellness and health. The question is, how do you hold yourself to that renewal, and how you move forward, continue to practice what you renewed to, right? So that's a key question, and we run into the coaching sessions all the time. Are you committed to what you are doing? And
well, the question is, are you committed to yourself?
Exactly. It's a commitment. Renewal is a commitment that you are doing to yourself, with you. As you know, renewal is restart, almost, that we talked about last time, right? In nature, it happens all the time. We go through the seasonality, and then everything changes, and weather start improving. And, when I say improving, I'm saying warming up, and then you have this blossom of spring, right? So it's the renewal, and is the continual faith that you have that this is a built-in system. Life is a built-in system, and in this system, as we started our journey, in my case it was a long time ago, right? So we are progressing through that journey. We have to continue to renew ourselves, because we don't know when the journey ends. Nobody knows.
Well, that. I started my journey a lot earlier than you did.
Well, it's the time, it's the perspective. Yeah.
I did marketing for gymnasiums and wellness centers for many, many years. And January would be the month of sign up, and February would be the month that people would begin to drop off. In March, 2/3 of the people who signed up are not showing up. So I think the question is, are you committed to yourself? Because we make a lot of time in our life for the things that we must do, the doings in our life, for others, for work, but we forget to take care of ourselves. And if you lose your health, you can't do any of the other things.
Yeah. It's the commitment is also holding yourself accountable. The reason coaching is successful and coaching is very important and you go to a gymnasium, you have a coach there, is to hold your somebody else holding you accountable as perspective coming from the opposite side of you is a complete you. The coach is part of you, and as the coach coaching you, they will focus on you. They will not focus on themselves or their perspective of life. They will, every answer that you give will have to come from you. And at that point, how committed are you? That same question, and how you hold yourself accountable is the other question, goes hand to hand. And once you do that, and somebody else holding you accountability, it's almost like accountability partner. You have somebody who is holding you accountable for everything that you are doing. So you creating a duplicate of you who is holding yourself accountable.
Well, and so I think that gymnasiums who require you to sign up for a class have a better success rate of maintaining their people because they have an appointment. They have set an appointment. And gyms that just allow you to come whenever you want to come probably have a harder time of maintaining that base, that strong renewal base, because people don't have a set time on their calendar that they have to come.
Yes, and you just mentioned that a few minutes ago. Is January is the high sign up month, and February is the turnover, right? So people drop off. Is to hold yourself accountable, you have to be committed. And sometimes those gymnasium that has that 1 year program or whatnot is to get you to that commitment that I am going to do it for a year at least, right? By doing that commitment, you are committed. Your commitment piece of this engagement is already put it in stone. So that's mean now you are committed to do that. Now the question is, are you going to show up? That's the accountability piece that come in. Yeah, money-wise, you're committing for a year and you signed up. But then are you going to show up? Are you going to do the work needed to grow yourself? That's the accountability piece that happens. It's almost like a dividend you get if you keep on showing up. And the investment you make to yourself is finally start paying off. As you show up, as you do the work, is similar like in a gymnasium. You become a member in the gymnasium and then you committed to go there, and then you holding yourself accountable to show up. And by showing up, you're getting the dividend back. And at some point, you're going to see return on investment is significantly much bigger than you thought, because now your health is improved. Now your mindset is improved. Now you're committed to do something. We as a human being are vulnerable to other things that come to our mind, and it's called buyer's remorse. Is once you commit to something and then you go back and say, well, is that the right thing I wanted to do? You get conflicting mind that prevent you from doing what you set yourself to doing. And that's where we as a coaches can hold people accountable, and we know how to do that. And by doing so, you making people accountable. And once you respond back to the accountability and come back to the core of it, why you did this to begin with. And once you answer that question, you know that now you're making progress. And that is what the renewal is. We renew it ourselves.
So what other commitments have you made to yourself this year?
Talking to you every 2 weeks, Tony. That's a commitment I made, and we've been holding ourselves accountable to it every single.
We have. Yeah. And I don't know who may benefit from this, because it is just a conversation between the two of us. Mm-hmm. And I hear from many people that they check in and they check out and they don't make the commitment to watch the show. But I think as long as they get one nugget of information from what we talk about, that's the key. And I think the key today is what I'm sensing. It's not just renewal, but it is commitment to yourself and determining what you need to be a better you, to live a better life. I was, since work from home has taken over my life, instead of going to work, I have found that my morning routine is not consistent as it used to be. I used to have a consistency of a time to wake up and what I would do before I would leave. And that has been thrown off by the flexibility of work from home. So myself, I went online and I do yoga, as you know, and I do meditation, and I happened upon a video from the perspective of a monk in the 5 tips to a good early morning routine. And I've been practicing those tips myself. And I think having that morning routine helps you set for the day. And that's my renewal for each day. And so the first thing was something that came up when you and I first got into coaching, which is when you wake up, you stay in bed for a moment while your mind is rested and your mind is not in that busy thinking mode. And while you center your mind and you contemplate death. And death is something that most people don't want to think about, which is the opposite of renewal. But what I found interesting in the coaching that you and I had discussed was that was one of the first things we started with, is to write your own epilogue and your own eulogy. And what would people say about you at your death? And from your perspective, if you're going to set a goal, thinking of it with the end in mind, and death is the ultimate conclusion. And it's a reality of life that we don't want to think about. But I thought that was very interesting to the very first tip was to contemplate death and to be grateful for the day, because today is not promised. And at one time, that day will not come. So if that was today, did you end it properly? So it makes you think differently in the day that you move forward.
Yes. In coaching, we call it starting with the end in mind. So what is, as we are doing this renewal, we can always look for the end in mind. What is the end goal of this, right? What are you looking for? How you want to do this is all come into play in the same thing that you are saying. Everything we do in our life is, and as you can see that people go subscribe something, right? Very excited and they are ready to do, and they will, okay, here, I'm going to hit the button and I am ready to do it. Well, a minute or two later after submitting that, they'll come back and some of the people will say, well, maybe I don't want to do it. And that's why you see the same thing happen when people make reservation to go for dinner, and they may choose Italian and they may choose Indian or Japanese, and then they decide, well, which one I want to go, right? So similar thing is our mind is a conflicting mind. We question ourselves as we progress, and which is good way of doing it, but at the same time it has also implication of renewal. It's called evaluating. We constantly evaluating what we do, and we get questioned by our own mind, are we doing it right? Are we not doing it right? But in commitment angle, when you are committed to do something and you hold yourself accountable to that, this is where you need to ask yourself, what is the end result I'm looking for? In the
I think,
corporate world. Mhm.
and I think part of the problem with exercise is you have that, I want to lose so much weight, so many pounds.
Mhm.
And sometimes you get to that end goal and you're done.
Mhm.
Many people, I've seen so many people backlash from hitting their goal weight, and then they put it right back on
Mhm. Well,
because
that's what the
they
maintenance.
achieved their goal, but they never made a goal
Mhm.
to continue and maintain that way.
Yes, and that's what the maintenance goal come into play. If I decided to lose 100 pound and I have lost it, now how do I keep it in a maintenance phase? And that's another goal that you set yourself to, and that's the renewal. So the in a corporate world, we do this all the time. We call it setting a goal for 5 years. This is what we do, and then we have to evaluate of the other things that come into play. But at the same time, if we are targeting to go to this goal, achieving those goals will be having that commitment and accountability in place. Now, there will be environmental impact of any goal that we do in our life. Situation change. For example, you join the gymnasium and then suddenly COVID hit. That's an external situation that you have no control over. So we will have in our life, you will have a situation, external situation, internal situation, they continue to come and impact your decision. And that's why you need to continue to evaluate what you are doing, and that's what the renewal aspect come in. Continue to evaluate and renew, and that's the reason for coaching is very important. Is having that somebody partner with you and they become part of you, because all the questions coming from you, all the answers coming from you, the coach as an expert in this is partnering with you to bring you back to your essential requirement that you contract with yourself. What is the contract you have with yourself? And as you evaluate that with the coach, then you get to the right point. And that's the most important thing in coaching. The result is significantly higher than what you can produce by yourself.
Well, it's interesting because, as you were speaking, I was thinking about, many of us have our daily goals. We call it a to-do list, things that need to get accomplished in the day. And as we scratch them off, it gives you a sense of self-satisfaction because you have achieved, the first, second, third item on your to-do list, and you can scratch them off. But the maintenance goal, as you said before, was, okay, what replaces that to-do? You can scratch off that item, but to the right of that, should you replace it with is there something else I need to do regarding this item? I can create a whole nother to-do list tomorrow, but right now, as I can scratch through that, I lost 5 pounds. Okay, what's the next goal?
Mm-hmm.
Write it right next to it. Okay, once you achieve it, what's next?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How do you do that in coaching?
Well, as example, I will give you, if you are a business owner who is coming to me for business coaching, and you have certain aspect that you want to improve on your business, definitely your profitability is the key concern of business owner and the coach, because if you don't make profit, you should not be in business. So our goal is first to get you to profitability. And once you are in profitability zone, then you are looking for how do you improve on this business, and what is your next year's goal? What is your, so if you make $5 million this year, what is your next revenue goal? So as we continue with that, at some point you may have, duplicated multiple way of doing things, and then you have double, triple, or quadruple your profitability. Now you are coming back to think about what else I can do. because this was my goal initially, to quadruple my profit. And on the process, we have implemented systems and processes, and now you are 4 times bigger than you were before when you first started. What do you do next, right?
Better hire employees.
Exactly. So, what is your next move? And that's what the question you will evaluate with your coach is, to see, do I open another line of business? Do I need to have multiple line of business, or what is, and that's the key question. We come back to this aspiration, which we'll be discussing about after February. In March, is we look at in a clear objective viewpoint of what is your goal in your life with the aspiration in mind. That's why menu of my life is the one that creates your next chapter. So that have to be renewed every year. By doing so, you now know that your business is where it is now compared to where it was 3 to 4, 5 years ago. And now you need additional things. You need more of line of business, or you may want to focus on your life and your quality of living and other things. So it all come into the play. And the
I think part of the problem is many business owners are only thinking of profitability, and they're not thinking about, why do they own the business?
Mhm.
What is the goal of having a business? Is it to enjoy a better quality of life?
Mhm.
Are you enjoying a better quality of life?
Mhm. Yeah.
So I think those goals need to be part of the basis.
Mhm.
Some of the other tips, one of the other tips that for making morning routine was make your bed, renewal of your bed.
Right.
And for a monk, it might be just 3 items: a pillow, a mat, and a blanket. But the reality is, it starts your day in a structured manner, in that you already have a win for the day. There's something you've already achieved. And I've heard, even in the military, they say that's the key of first thing in the morning is making your bed, so that you start the day with an achievement. And it gives you a sense of direction for that day. And I've also heard that it makes you sleep better at night when you come back to a made bed.
Mhm.
So that's just a basic thought there.
Yeah. You have heard that from one of my clients interview that you did before, is making his bed is the first thing he does. It is it is customized to what fits for you and what is individually what works, right? So in his situation, is making the bed is what gets him going, and that's the first thing every day, and it's a good start. So adapting to some type of routine like this is a good start of doing things positively, right? Because you are focusing on the future, and I'll be coming back to the bed to sleep again. So it better be nicely made, right? So keeping ourselves to that routine. This is a routine that you are applying to achieve something in that day or that time of your life. Is a renewal of yourself with yourself. Is basically you are now devoting your time to make sure that you are doing everything that you said you're going to do, right? And how you do that is going to show up in your end result. Are you achieving that? And that's in a strategic mindset, we devote our time focusing on just that, creating the strategy that you need to follow. But remember, creating the strategy will not get you anywhere. It get you a strategy will get you started. Just like making your bed is not going to return you to the bed safely and nicely.
Correct.
Right? So it's
you mentioned something that you might make a decision, and then your mind gets busy, and you start to evaluate, and you start to wonder, whether it's something you bought and you have buyer's remorse. One of the other morning routines in something I've been practicing very much is to try to find stillness. So even before you make your bed, while your mind is quiet, to sit and meditate for a while. Because while you meditate, and the key to meditation, as you know, is to think of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you talk to people who do not meditate, they don't understand how can you think about nothing? Because if you're thinking about nothing, aren't you thinking?
Mm-hmm.
So learning to breathe and learning to meditate helps calm your mind, helps clear your mind, and it helps. I'm sure there's some psychological aspect that comes into play here, where it helps the things fall into place the way they're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of you overreacting or overthinking an issue, it helps the things fall into place so that you realize I did that for a reason, and it's a good reason.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's our brain is constantly working, and it's working in our sleep. Even if when we are sleeping, is constantly working. So as what you are mentioning here is meditating as a practice of mindfulness, is what you are doing there is pausing from that continual work. You giving your brain rest. By going to sleep, you don't provide the rest to your brain. By eliminating your thought process or thinking, you provide the rest needed by your brain to renew and restart. Similar thing like a computer. You turn it off and reboot it so it can start back again. By turning it off, you totally giving the computer rest. So our brain is similar, as example matches with the computer, because it's constantly working and evolving. And when you pause and you learn how to pause with the mindfulness, it actually helps your brain to improve thinking. And it also reduces your stress. That's why there is a lot of practices of mindfulness, which tells me that the time is right on giving a pause from our session.
You're being very mindful of your time. That's very good. I just
Correct.
noticed it was 9:30, and
Yeah.
I know we both have busy days ahead of us. So I will bid you adieu until the first Tuesday of February, and have a fabulous day.
And we'll be discussing love. And have a fabulous day, and enjoy the day with the pause that you have started this morning and with the renewal of your journey. I'll see you next time, and have fun.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.